Have you ever noticed how seriously we treat everything? Waking up feels like stepping into a race we didn't agree to run. There's always something waiting, something to fix. It's as if life is constantly asking for a report card, and we are terrified of failing it. But pause for a moment and look at it from far away. The earth has been spinning long before you arrived, and it will keep going long after you are gone. Stars explode in silence. Oceans rise and fall without needing permission. Entire civilizations appear, shine briefly, then fade into history without the universe even blinking. And here we are, treating our personal story like it is the center of everything. It's almost funny when you see it clearly, like we stepped into a vast open stage and forgot it was a play. The weight we learn to carry. From early on, we are taught that life must be taken seriously. Be responsible. Plan everything. Choose correctly. Don't waste time. And slowly, without noticing, we start believing that seriousness equals value. That if we are not stressed, then we are somehow failing at life. So we build this invisible pressure inside ourselves. Every decision starts to feel heavy. Every mistake feels permanent. But have you ever asked yourself where this pressure actually came from? Because if you look at nature, nothing seems to live this way. Life doesn't seem to be struggling. Trees don't rush to become perfect trees. Rivers don't question whether they are flowing correctly. Birds don't sit around worrying about meaning before they sing. Everything in nature simply expresses itself without apology. There is movement, but not anxiety. There is activity, but not self-doubt. So somewhere along the way, humans added something extra to existence. A constant inner commentary that says, "This matters too much. Don't get it wrong." And that voice changes everything. Because once life becomes important, fear enters the room. When everything becomes a test, the moment we turn life into something serious, everything becomes an exam. Success or failure, right or wrong. Enough or not enough. Even rest starts to feel guilty. Even silence feels uncomfortable. Even doing nothing needs a justification. So we stay busy, not always because we need to, but because stillness feels like we are falling behind. And in all that movement, something gets lost. Not success, not progress, but ease. The natural lightness of simply being alive. The strange relief of letting go. Now imagine something different. Imagine, just for a moment, that nothing you are doing has to carry cosmic importance. Not because life is meaningless, but because meaning doesn't need to be forced. It's already here, in the fact that you are experiencing this moment. If you really saw that, something subtle would shift inside you. The pressure would loosen. The constant inner urgency would soften. You would still act, still care, still build your life. But it would feel less like survival and more like movement, like a dance instead of a struggle. A misunderstood idea. When people hear nothing matters, they usually misunderstand it. They think it means giving up, becoming careless, losing direction. But that's not what it points to. It's about disconnecting from the fear around life. There is a huge difference between the two. One leads to numbness. The other leads to freedom. Because when you stop gripping everything so tightly, you don't lose life. You experience it more clearly. The mind that wants control. The serious mind always wants certainty. It wants guarantees, outcomes, stability. It believes that if it can just control enough variables, life will finally feel safe. But life never agreed to be controlled. It moves, it shifts, it changes form constantly. And the more we try to lock it down, the more tense we become inside it. It's like trying to hold water in clenched fists. The tighter the grip, the less you actually hold. What happens when you stop clenching? Something surprising happens when the grip relaxes. You don't fall apart. You become more present. You notice things you were too distracted to see before. The way light moves across a wall. The tone in someone's voice. Life stops being a problem to solve and becomes something to participate in, not a test. A living experience. Freedom is not indifference. Letting go is often mistaken for not caring. But real letting go is actually the opposite. It is caring without possession, loving without control, acting without fear of outcome. You still show up. You still do what matters to you. But your sense of worth is no longer hanging on the result. That changes everything. Because now even failure doesn't crush you. Even success doesn't trap you. You are simply moving with life instead of fighting it. The paradox people miss. Here's the strange part. The more you release the need for life to prove itself, the more alive it feels. The more you stop demanding meaning, the more meaning appears naturally in simple things. A conversation becomes richer. A walk becomes clearer. Even ordinary moments start to feel complete. Not because life changed, but because your grip on it did. What if this is all a dance? Maybe life was never meant to be a competition. Maybe it was never about reaching a final, correct state. Maybe it is more like music, something that unfolds in real time. In music, no single note is the point. The entire flow is the point. And in that sense, your life is not asking you to win. It is asking you to participate. So what happens if you really take this in? not as an idea, but as a way of seeing. You stop treating every moment like it is carrying unbearable weight. You stop measuring your existence against invisible standards. You start to move with a little more space inside you, a little more breath, a little more ease, and strangely, life does not lose meaning. It becomes more intimate, more vivid, more real. Because when nothing is forced to matter, everything is allowed to simply be. And in that simplicity, something very close to peace appears, not because you achieved it, but because you stopped resisting.